whereby their seeds are not dressed there. Yeah. Teacher, you're muted.
Okay, sorry about that. So she said angiosperms are a type of seed-bearing plants, the spermatophytes. She also said angiosperms bear flowers. They are flowering plants. And I think she also said angiosperms produce or bear seeds that are enclosed within a fruit, unlike the other category, the gymnosperms. Okay? Anyone else saying something about angiosperms, gymnosperms before we continue? She has talked about the angiosperms very well. Anyone to say something about the gymnosperms? Maybe she did give us an example. Winnie, could you give an example of the angiosperms? Angiosperms, an example? Yes, Nabile?
I want to talk about gymnosperms.
Okay, go ahead.
They produce naked seeds.
Yes.
And most of them are cone-bearing plants. Most of them, pine, cypress, and cycads.
And cycad.
Cycad.
CYC. Okay, that is good. And majority of them have needle-shaped leaves as well, isn't it so? The leaves are small. I've just joined and I'm lost. What are we talking about? Shamsa, we are talking about the plants. We are talking about the plants, what we discussed last time about the plants. So that is what we said. I also talked about, so that one is our fan, a pteridophyte. Those are the gymnosperms. So those are gymnosperms, and we've been talking about the cones. So the cone is there. Yes, Marilyn?
We also talked about types of vascular tissues like the xylem and the phloem. We said that the xylem transports water and dissolved mineral salts from the roots to the leaves, and the phloem conducts food made in the leaves to the roots. We also talked about a particular plant. I think it's a fan. Yeah, we talked about a fan that when you look at the back, you'll find some brown stuff behind it, and those stuff are called sori. And when it's one, it's called the sorus. When they break, those are where the spores are, and they are dispersed by wind.
Okay, that is very good. So someone is paying attention. That is very good, Marilyn. That is exactly what we said. Okay, so we also talked about vascular tissues. She has talked about the xylem and the phloem. Now, amongst the plants in kingdom plant, there is a division. Remember, we said the division is the phylum. For the case of the plants, a phylum, we call it a division. There's a division in kingdom plant that is made up of plants that don't have vascular tissues. Which division is that one? There's a division in kingdom plant that is made up of plants that don't have vascular tissues. Which division is that one? Yes, Nabide?
Division Bryophyta.
That is division Bryophyta. Thank you. That is very correct. So amongst the plants of the three divisions, it is pteridophytes and spermatophytes that have vascular tissues. The bryophytes, which are the simplest plants, for example, the mosses, do not have the vascular tissues. And I said they actually don't need those vascular tissues because those plants are very small, so the materials, food and water, can be transported by simple processes without the need for a complicated vascular system. The pteridophytes and the spermatophytes that have the vascular tissues can be collectively called tracheophytes. They can be called tracheophytes. Tracheophytes. So if you hear someone talking about tracheophytes, they are talking about vascular plants. They are talking about plants that have vascular tissues. And Marilyn said the vascular tissues are xylem and the phloem. So tracheophytes are plants that have xylem and phloem. Xylem to transport water and dissolved mineral salts, then the phloem to transport the manufactured food. Now, the flowering plants are further divided into two. So there are two classes under angiosperms. We have two classes of angiosperms. We have two classes of the flowering plants. Yes, Marilyn?
Monocots and dicots.
Okay, that is very correct. We have dicots and the monocots. Those words are not new. I believe every one of you has ever used dicots, dicotyledonous plants, monocots, monocotyledonous plants. What do we know about the monocots or the dicots? Could be examples, could be characteristics, anything that you know, you remember about either monocots or dicots. Yes, Marilyn.
Dicots have two cotyledons, while a monocot has one cotyledon.
Dicots have two cotyledons, monocots have two cotyledons. We need to specify which part of
Monocots
the
have one.
monocots have one.
Yes, while
Monocots,
dicots have two.
okay? Let us make it better and say seeds of monocots have one cotyledon. Seeds of dicots have two cotyledons. Is that okay?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, teacher.
That is good. Yes, Akidi?
Monocots have fibrous root system, while dicots have taproot system.
Okay, monocots have a fibrous root system. Dicots have a taproot system. What is a taproot system? What is a taproot system? What is a fibrous root system? Anyone saying something about the taproot system and the fibrous root system? Yes, Amira? Okay, Marilyn?
Teacher, I was giving Anna.
An answer, another answer.
Let Amira talk. I'll talk after.
Okay, someone, for now I need someone to say something about the taproot system and the fibrous root system. Some people don't know what the taproot system is or what
Teacher, me.
yeah, who is this? Precious? Regina?
Yes, a taproot system is a system. Yes,
Yes.
a taproot system is a root system with a main root, while a fibrous root system is a root system without a main root.
Okay, that is good. Thank you. A taproot system comprises of a main root And then that main root gives rise to other roots, side roots that we can call the lateral roots. There's a main root, and then the main root gives off branches, the lateral roots. Then we have the fibrous root system. A fibrous root system doesn't have a main root. All the roots arise from roughly the same point and they are about the same size. So monocots tend to have a fibrous root system. The dicots, on the other hand, tend to have a taproot system. Oh, that is good. Okay? Anything else about these plants, monocots, dicots? Yes, Nabide?
Um, Monocots flower petals are usually in multiples of 3, while dicot flower petals are usually in multiples of 5.
Very good. When you look at a flower of a monocot, the petals, it could be other floral structures as well, but at least everyone knows the petals. The petals are in threes. You'll find 3 petals. If you see a flower and you count the petals, you're counting 3 petals. Just know that flower belongs to a monocotyledonous plant. It could even be threes or multiples of 3. Mathematics, I believe we know multiples. So it could have 3, it could have 6, it could have 9. Those figures 6, 9 are multiples of 3. So that flower would belong to a monocot. On the other hand, if you came across a flower and you looked at that flower and you realized that it has 5 petals, or petals that are, or the numbers of the petals are in multiples of 5, then we know that that flower belongs to a dicotyledonous plant. That is very good. Precious? Yes, Precious? Linda?
Teacher, I forgot to put my hand down.
Oh, okay. Amira?
Leaves of monocots have parallel leaf venation, while leaves of dicots have network leaf venation.
Very correct, thank you. The leaves of monocots have parallel veins in them, while the leaves of dicots have network veins in them. That is also correct. Anything else about dicots, monocots? Akidi, Elizabeth? Akidi? Okay, as Akidi gets ready to
Monocots have stems without branches, while dicots have stems with branches.
Monocots have stems without branches. Dicots have stems with branches. Is it really true that the stems of monocots don't have branches? Actually, that one I don't think is right. Eh? The stems
All
have,
plants have branches.
all plants have branches.
All
All,
stem,
all stems
yes,
have, yes. So
yes,
Akidi, not correct. Thank you for trying.
yes.
Alaisha, Nachitende.
Dicots have 2 cotyledons, while monocots have 1 cotyledon.
Okay, that is what we started with. Alaisha, we said the seeds of monocotyledonous plants have 1 cotyledon. The seeds of dicotyledonous plants have 2 cotyledons. That is what we started with. Yes, Natalie. Okay, good. Yes, Natalie.
Teacher, the monocots, the stem is unbranched and fleshy, while the dicots, the stem is branched and hard.
Monocots, the stem is unbranched
And fleshy.
and then
Fleshy.
okay, that one is also not okay. We've just seen that the stems are branched, whether you're looking at a monocot or a dicot, all stems have branches. It's not that it is only stems of one kind that have branches. Then 2, You're saying dicots have a hard stem, something like that, but we have
Yes.
dicots that have fleshy stems as well. It depends on the stage, I think. It could as well depend on the stage. So that one is not also very okay. It may not be applicable to all plants at all stages of development. Look at some small, simple plants, the herbaceous plants. Is that stem also hard? I don't think so. So tried, but that one is not very fine. Yes, Naivare?
Monocots have parallel leaf venation while dicots have network leaf venation.
Monocots have the leaves of monocots. We need to specify. The leaves of monocots have parallel venation, and the leaves of dicots have network venation. So those are some of the characteristics. We've talked about the leaves. Some of the, when you look at that table that I've shared there, some features we can relate to, some of them we may not relate to. Some of them we shall understand better when we come to the internal structure of the plant structures, like the stems and the roots. But amongst the differences that we have there, the dicots, we've already said the seeds have 2 cotyledons. The leaves of monocots have 1 cotyledon. We've also talked about the venation. The leaves of the dicots have network venation. Leaves of monocots have parallel veins or parallel venation. Now the third one, the ring of fascicular bundles in the stem. So now I think we shall understand it better when we look at the internal structure. The same thing with the next one, which is to do with the cambium. That fourth one, the same. Dicots, okay, we've also talked about the flower parts being in 5s or multiples of 5 for dicots, then being in 3s or multiples of 3. Then monocots, majority of the monocots have very small flowers. And because they have very small flowers, they are usually not pollinated by insects. But dicots usually have flowers that are big, brightly colored, and they are pollinated by insects. And then the examples, we have very many examples. Naivare?
Teacher, monocots have fibrous root system while dicots have taproot system.
Monocots, fibrous root system, dicots have a taproot system. Maybe you give me some examples before we move on to the next kingdom. Some examples of dicots, some examples of monocots. Yes, Marilyn?
Beans are dicots.
The dicots, good. Amira?
Mangoes are dicots.
Mangoes are dicots, yes, good. Akidi?
Tomatoes are dicots.
Tomatoes, dicots, good. Alaisha?
Maize are monocots.
Maize, monocot, good. Gloria? Okay. Tea? Tea?
Peas.
Peas. Pizza?
Dicot.
Pizza dicot. So
Yes.
those are all very good
You mean?
examples. That was Celestine. You mute. Mute yourselves, please. We don't want to get what is happening in your background. Okay. Naluze, Agatha. Yes, Agatha. Agatha is not there. Shamsa. Shamsa Uthman.
Rice is monocot.
Rice is monocot. Good. Chigundu. Abdul. Chigundu.
Sorghum is monocot.
Sorghum is monocot. So we can
Sorghum
actually.
is monocot.
So we just based on that variation. It's actually very based on that, we can see that. Analysis Agatha, mute, please, mute. We don't want to get what is happening in your background. Okay, so those are all good examples for both monocots and the dicots. I can still see some hands up. Yes, let me have Natalie. Okay, down. Nabili, are you saying something?
Millet is a monocot.
It is a monocot, good. Then Shamsa?
Wheat is a monocot.
The monocot, correct. Okay, so we now move to, before we move to, just a moment. Yes, Nabili, your hand is still up. Nabili, your hand is up. Are you saying something? Okay, Nabili is not listening to what we are saying. Okay, so we have an activity here, which is a simple one. We have activity. I think everyone has this book. Is that true?
Some of us do.
Some of you do. I thought everyone had, because this was shared on the WhatsApp group by Mr.
No, we don't have it.
Okay, I did get that, Natalie. Okay, let me share my screen here so that we can see what we are supposed to do. So we have activity 3.4. We have activity.
Zoe said that she doesn't have it.
So it doesn't.
Yes.
We have it.
We have it. Okay, so those that have it, better you can just open your own document. For those that don't have, I think you'll now have to move as I scroll down here. So what are we doing in this activity? We are sorting and identifying organisms in kingdom plant. Sorting and identifying. For this activity, you may have to Google some of these names and you look for the picture, the correct picture, because some of the pictures are not very clear here. So from the pictures, you may not be able to identify some of them. But since we have the names, you can just Google that name, the pictures, numerous photos will come, look for one that is clear, then compare the one that is clear with the images that we have here so that you're able to identify. So what are we doing? We have pictures of the specimens. The specimens that we have in the pictures are, we have the cycad, the mango, the papyrus, the fern, the water cabbage, the cypress, the eucalyptus, the sugarcane, the hornwort, the club mosses, and then wandering Jew. Some of these plants we already know. Some of them we already know. Like, I believe everyone knows a mango plant. You can easily identify it from the list there. I also want to believe that everyone knows sugarcane. You can easily identify it from the pictures. Yes, Marilyn?
Even the fans, we learned about them in the last lesson, so we might know them.
Even the fun, that is good. Okay, then, so we have the pictures, we have the names, then we have the group names, then we have the characteristics. So we have 4 different things. Are they 4? We have the pictures, that is one category of items given. We have the names, another category. We have the group names, another category. And then we have the characteristics. What are we doing? What we are doing is very simple, quite simple. Sort the organisms in the pictures according to their different groups using the common characteristics. Fill in the table below. So what are you doing? You're first of all identifying these pictures by name. For example, I can already tell that 2 is for the mango plant. Very easy. The rest I've seen you may have to Google. There are some names that may be new to some of us, like Wandering Jew is new to me. It is new to me, so I'll have to Google Wandering Jew, get the pictures on the net, compare with what I have here, so that I'm able to tell which picture is representing Wandering Jew. So I do the same for all the pictures. In other words, the very first part of the activity is identifying the pictures by name. After doing that, we've already grouped plants into different categories. We've seen some plants are angiosperms. We've seen some plants are pteridophytes. We've seen some plants are gymnosperms. We've seen some plants are bryophytes. From the pictures, am I able to tell which ones are angiosperms? Remember, you've already matched the names with the pictures, so you may be basing on the name or you may be basing on the picture. Which plants are angiosperms? Which plants are pteridophytes? Which plants are gymnosperms? Which plants are bryophytes? After doing that, now I go to the groups. Which groups have roots, stems, and leaves? Which groups have seeds in an ovary? Which group has flowers? Which group has vessels? Which group has no flowers? Which group has no vessels? Which group has no roots? Which group has seeds that are not in an ovary? After doing that, I now complete this table. So I have a table there. It has a column for pictures, a column for group name, and a column for characteristics. Now, we are doing part one together. Part one is identifying these organisms by name. Part one, identifying the organisms by name. We can do that together, and then I'll let you continue with part B, identifying the group name and then the characteristics. Then we shall discuss those two parts after you've at least done something. But for part one, getting the names, let us do this one together. Yes, Marilyn, you're identifying, I've already identified the mango.
Yeah. I'm identifying number 6. It's a cycad.
Number 6 is a cycad?
Yes.
Okay. Number 6 is a cycad, she says. Yes, Elisha?
I'm identifying number 9.
Number 9 is which one?
It's eucalyptus.
Eucalyptus. Number 9. Is number 9 eucalyptus? Number 9 is not eucalyptus. Tried, but that one is not right. Yes, Gloria? Remember, I've said you can actually Google.
Number 10. Number 10 is sugarcane.
Number 10 is sugarcane. Okay. Good. Bukenya?
Number 9 is a cactus.
Number 9 is cactus. No. That doesn't.
It has thorns.
It has thorns.
Like that.
Number 9 is a cabbage.
Like it has a prickly stuff. It's a cactus.
Number 9 is a cactus? No.
Number 9 is cabbage.
Number 9 doesn't look like cactus. Someone says it's cabbage. So number 9 is water cabbage. Number 9. Number 9 is water cabbage. Okay? Najinda?
Number 1 is fans.
Number 1 is a fan. Okay. Number 1 is a fan. Good. Mungunge?
Number 4 is papyrus.
Number 4 is papyrus. Yes, that is clear. Papyrus. Good. Nayebare? Nayebare? Gabriela?
Number 8 is mango.
Number 8 is?
Number 2 is mango.
Number 2 is mango. That one I've already done the identification. I've already identified that one. Number one, told us is,
Fan.
okay, let me first go through the ones that you've identified so far. Number one,
Which I think grass.
Fan.
Fan.
one
Fan.
number 2 is a mango. Number 4 is papyrus. Number 6, someone said it's a cycad. Number 10, you said it's sugarcane. So the pictures that we've not talked about are 3, 5, 7, 11. Oh, and number 9 we've agreed is water cabbage too. So number 3, not identified. 5, not identified. 7, not identified. 8, not identified. 11, not identified. 12, not identified. So it is those ones that I want. Kusemererwa.
I think 7 is club mosses.
7 is club mosses.
Yes.
7 is no. 7 doesn't look like the club mosses. Have you googled the club mosses?
It looks like them.
It looks like them.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. Those are not. Akidi. 7.
I think 5 is club mosses.
5 is club mosses. Well, 5 is not. 5 is not very clear, but maybe we could take
Club
it as
mosses.
the mosses.
No, 7 is club mosses. I've used Google Teacher.
5, eh?
7.
7 is club mosses, sure?
Yes, yes.
Can you share with us Can you share with us the photo that you're using to identify the one you've seen on Google that you're saying is club mosses? Oh, let me allow you to share. Allow participants. Okay, you can share. Are you sharing with us?
Yes, but they say I can't share when you're sharing.
Stop mine. Okay. Is there any other person that is identifying 7 as the club mosses?
Teacher, it's there.
Now compare that one with the photo that we have there for number 7, as if the two don't really match, do they?
Teacher, they match.
Compare what you've shown us with number 7.
Class.
Okay.
Teacher, they match.
They match.
Yes, it doesn't match with anything else. They match.
I just wanted to give, okay, I just wanted to give Wandering Jew.
Wandering Jew is which one?
I think it's 8. I think it's 8 because the one I got from Google. The one I got from Google had purple stuff, but then that one, but then the leaves match, like the leaves.
Yeah, I also checked, but it looked kind of purple. Yeah. Teacher, is Wandering Joe a weed?
Yes, Wandering.
Okay.
So, is Wandering Joe? Marilyn?
Is Wandering Joe a weed?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
But the purple one can actually be used for decorating your compound.
Yeah, that's what I saw. It's what I saw people doing on Google.
The purple one is used for decorative. I don't know whether you can also use the green, but it's a weed. Okay, yes, Elisha? The ones we haven't talked about are 3, 3, 5, 7, 11, and 12. Yes,
Teacher, I think number 11 is cypress.
number 11 is cypress. Have you Googled cypress?
I think it's eucalyptus.
But I found number 9 as papyrus on Google.
Number 9.
Yeah, on Google. That's what it said. Because I was using Google Lens. I took a picture so that Google could like identify the ones which match according to what is there.
And it identified 9 as
papyrus.
Which papyrus looks like that one?
I don't know.
You now Google without using a lens, just type there water cabbage and see. Or you type there papyrus.
I also searched for cypress by typing. The rest I did by typing, but it did not match the one Elisha is saying.
The cypress, you did get anything that looks like what we
Yeah.
have in the
Yes, it did not match.
Excuse me, teacher. I've searched and 12 is eucalyptus.
5 is eucalyptus. Again, I didn't get that.
12.
12. 12 is eucalyptus.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that is okay. 12 is eucalyptus. Now the challenge is
Master.
Yes. Let me see. Yes. Agatha. Naluvega. Yes, Naluvega.
Teacher, I think one is a hornwort.
One is the hornwort. No. One is not the hornwort. We've actually identified one as the fan.
It's fun. Yeah, it's what we learned last lesson, remember? We even screen share some. I think we screen share. Or some of us went and researched more.
Teacher, okay, 7 is the wandering Jew.
7? No. We have
7 is
8.
club mosses.
3 is cypress.
Yes, 7 is cypress.
Just 7 is club mosses.
7 is club mosses?
Yes.
Has anyone Googled hornwort?
What?
I've Googled and I think 7 is
The hornwort is number 7.
Just
anyone
club mosses.
Teacher, cypress is number 3.
Number 5.
Hornwort
is cypress.
Hornwort is number 7.
Hornwort is number 7. If you Google the hornwort, you'll discover the hornwort. Number 7 should be the hornwort.
Now, 3 is the cypress.
3 is the cypress. Okay, now these are the ones we've identified. Let us be very clear. Number 1 we've said is the fan. Number 2 is the mango. Number 3 is the cypress. Number 4 is the papaya. Number 5, I don't know, we've discussed. Number 6 is the cycad. Number 7 is the hornwort. Number 8 is wandering Jew. Number 9 is the water cabbage. Number 10 is sugarcane. Number 12 is the eucalyptus. So we are now stuck with 11 and 5. And the only one the only words we haven't used are club. Oh, there's only one word that we've not used so far. That's the club moss. So between 11 and 5, which one do you think is the club moss?
I just checked for the club moss and I also checked for the hornwort. But it's like the club moss looks more like number 7 than the hornwort, according to me.
Okay, and now the hornwort, you want to identify it as which one? Which one?
I'm not.
Master?
Yes.
Maybe
Master.
number 5. Maybe number 5, according to some images.
We identify the hornwort as number 5. Is it possible
Yeah.
for you to share? Is it possible for you to share those images?
Okay, I will. It said that I can't share. Oh, okay, now.
Now.
Teacher, can you see that? This is the club moss.
That is the moss.
And if you see the first image and you scroll a little bit more in, and then you check the book for number 7, like the edges kind of match. And when I checked for the hornworts, as I kept on going, here, this image, this particular one here, I think this number 5 was taken from above, and so maybe they may resemble a little bit. That's why I'm saying that number 7 may be the club moss.
Yes.
How about the first? Look at the first one. That one. That one. The first one.
The network is poor.
You look at those two. That one. If you compare it with
number 7.
compare it
But
with
number 7's leaves are scattered. This one is together. Like
the leaves are
the leaves are different.
the leaves are different.
Yes, they are.
Okay. Let us go back to the other picture and see. So you're saying
My network is poor.
okay. Let me now share mine here. Yes.
Master.
Yes.
Master, my network is poor.
The network is poor.
Yes.
Okay. Now there's nothing that we can do about the
I'm
network.
getting off.
You're getting off.
But then, Master, I'm not benefiting.
You're not
benefiting.
Why is that so? What is the problem?
I really don't know, Master, because I'm getting off and on and I'm missing.
Now there's nothing you can do about the network. Just try to get better network. I don't know which network you're using, but just try to get better network.
You're not alone. Network is
Right.
also not good.
Try to get better network. Otherwise, there's nothing really that we can do in this side. Okay. So those pictures now. Let me see. If you make that image bigger, Marilyn, do you still want to go with the seven being the club mosses? Marilyn.
So we have agreed that number 7 is club mosses.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, we can take it, and then 5 we take it as the 5 you're saying now becomes the hornwood, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then 11 now the names seem to be fewer. The names we've been given seem to be fewer than the pictures. That means we don't have a name for 11. But if you closely look at it, which plant could that be? 11. The picture is not very clear though, but if you try to
or pines?
it is actually it is a plant that has cone.
Oh, they are pines. There might be pines.
They could be pines. It could be pine.
Teacher, they are
Pine
pines.
cone.
It could be pine, but we don't have pine in the list, but probably that would be pine. Okay. Now the second part of the activity is identifying the group name. I'm going to identify one for you, and I'll leave you to identify the rest. We've identified the mango as, we've identified it as a mango. A mango plant is an angiosperm. A mango plant is an angiosperm. So when it comes to completing this table, down here, if I write the word, if I write group name as angiosperms, my first group name as angiosperms, one of the pictures that are showing angiosperms will be 2. And what characteristic am I basing? I would base on having, because there are many characteristics. Angiosperms have roots, stems, and leaves. They also have seeds in an ovary. They also have flowers. They also have vessels. So that is what I would write for the in that row. Is that okay?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Let us now identify the group names. Let us identify the group to which each of the pictures belongs. Let us identify the group to which each picture belongs. Yes, yes, Gloria. Gloria, I've already identified the group for the group for picture 1. Picture 1 is an angiosperm. Gloria, which one are you identifying? Okay, mute. Kenya, mute yourself. Okay. Let me have Amira. Amira, which one are you identifying? Group name? Amira is not there. Yes, Marilyn?
I'll identify the sugarcane.
Sugarcane is which group?
Angiosperms.
Sugarcane is also an angiosperm. Good. Another person identified. Yes. Okay, you can go ahead and identify the group name of another plant. Marilyn.
Pines.
Okay.
For pines, they are under, which one is this? Conifers.
Just give the picture number instead of the name. Just say picture, please.
Number picture 11 are conifers.
Conifers, but we don't have conifers as one of the groups. You look at the group names. The group names we have are angio, pterido, gymno, and brio. We don't have coniferous plants there. So that identity would be.
Number 11,
Okay.
is it pteridophyte?
Okay,
It
someone
must
is,
be a spermatophyte.
which one?
Number 11.
Must be a spermatophyte. Again, we don't
Yes.
have the word spermatophyte. This is spermatophyte.
It's a gymnosperm. Gymnosperm.
So number 11 is gymnosperm. Good. Nabilie? Yes, Nabilie?
Number 3 is a gymnosperm.
Number 3 is also a gymnosperm. Good. Janet?
Number 1 is a peridophyte.
Number 1 is a pteridophyte.
Number
Good.
3 is a gymnosperm.
6, the gymnosperm, because we are seeing the cones there. Good. Yes, another one. Nabili again.
Teacher, there was one where they said it was a pteridophyte. Which one was it?
Was one. They said one is a pteridophyte. Okay, now I want us to complete that classification. Make sure you place each picture in the correct group. Then you write the characteristics for the organisms in each group as well. For example, I've said 2 is an angiosperm. Angiosperms have roots, stems, and leaves. They have seeds in an ovary, they have flowers, they have vessel. So you do the same for the rest of the groups. Is that okay?
Yes,
Is
teacher.
that okay?
Yes, teacher.
Make sure you complete that table. That book is available. Draw that table in your book, complete it, and then we shall look at it.
Teacher, most are bryophytes.
Moses,
Bryophytes.
yes, you saw from Moses. But now you're listening here. We are stopping here. But make sure you complete that table. Place every picture.
Teacher.
Place every
Yes.
place in the correct group. And then you also identify the characteristics. And the characteristics, simply choosing given, don't
Those parents are real.
There's people.
The teacher is still talking.
I just wanted to say that hornworts are bryophytes.
Okay, hornworts are also bryophytes. Hornworts are also bryophytes. Make sure you complete and you write your answers in the table. We shall continue with the classification. Oh, there's also another part of the activity that we've not discussed. There's a part that requires us to draw a flow chart. Draw a flow chart. Sorry? The book. Where can we get the WhatsApp group? Just request for it. Just ask Mr. Namdara to send you that book again. He'll send it. Okay. Okay, so bye, and don't forget to complete the activity.
Thank you, teacher. Bye, teacher.